Recording in progress.
Welcome. It's a great day to be a Rotarian. Imagine our club is a place that is fun and kind. Now let's say our pledge and have an invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We give thanks for this food and fellowship. May Rotary friends and Rotary ways help us serve others all of our days. Amen. Stan, do we have any guests? No guests. If you're a guest, raise your hand. No guests. Cup money this month is B Field of South Topeka buying the supplies for their common room. October 20 should be on your calendar. That will be our Pints for Polio event. Let's see, other things coming up. October 29th, Trunk or Treat. I'll tell you a little bit more about that coming up, as I will also get on your calendar. Next week is our new member assembly. So if you have sponsored a member, I went back on Club Runner and ran a report of everyone who is still in the club that joined from 2019 on, because I'm not sure, due to the pandemic and such, that we have acknowledged you or given you a Rotary pin to wear or introduced you to the club. So if you're a new member since January of 2019, and especially if you haven't got a pin, write a short bio, tell us a little about yourself. So if you're a wine aficionado, I can make sure you get invited to the next wine event, things like that. Get you plugged in, and we'll just enjoy our members next week. Fun bucks, $5 for a personal announcement, $20 for a organizational announcement. Grace.
I think I could have gotten away with $5, but I'll put $20 in anyway. I don't know where to put it. This is total self-promotion, so probably 40, right?
20 will do.
So I don't know, you may know that I'm involved in Topeka Civic Theater, and I just want to make sure that you know that I'm in a show called Grumpy Old Men, the Musical, and we open this weekend. Tomorrow is opening night, and we run for about 17 shows, 4 or 5 weeks. And if you want to come, I think you have a really, really good time, lots of laughs, and you will be able to see me as a very mean tax collector. Creepy, threatening, and I hope you come. Just call Topeka Civic Theater and get your tickets.
Anybody else? Okay, oh yes, Carl has one. We can always catch you next week, Carl.
I'm the intern executive director for the Center for Peace and Justice. And October 11th, we have our annual peace party. It's going to be at Grace Cathedral, starting at 5:30, half hour. We're going to serve wine and have fun. And at 6:30, we'll have our awards program and dinner. So it'll be October 11th. I'll try to bring some flyers next week. But I just want to get the date out there. Hope that many of my Rotarians will come out and support us at the Center for Peace and Justice. Remember, I think we received one of y'all first grants, and we appreciate that, and we're still doing great work in the community. Thank you.
Thank you. So another thing that we're going to be doing next week is collecting professional clothing for 501 high schoolers that are going on interviews and other more formal occasions for which they might not have formal attire. I know I have a number of suits in my closet that I either can't wear anymore, and I certainly don't wear anymore. And so I'll be bringing some suits, and my wife has some clothes, and that's all going to 501 for their interview clauses. So bring those next week. I mean, thank you, Betty. What we're really looking for is business attire, so that they have something to wear for the interview. Marge? You can bring them any way you can get them here. If they don't come on a hanger, we'll find one for it. Okay. The zoo, again, is always looking for volunteers. Right now, they're looking for Friday morning zoo light stringers. I also want to make sure that October 15th is on your calendar for the sandbar cleanup, which is just downriver a little bit from the Seward boat ramp that we've adopted. And we'll be joining Kansas River Keepers, the Evergy Green Team, Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, and our club is going to be serving the meal that day. So we have a fabulous menu of hot dog, condiments, and other things. So put that on your calendar. Again, Trunk or Treat is going to be Saturday. This is a fundraiser for our Interact Club at Highland Park. The Trunk or Treat will be Saturday, October 29th from 2 to 4 p.m. They're hoping that we can have 10 to 15 Rotarians with cars to open their trunks. We'll start collecting candy anytime for that Trunk or Treat. They're hoping to have 2,500 pieces of candy in every trunk. Last year, with just a little bit of advertising, there were 1,200 kids came through on that Trunk or Treat. So if you have any candy or want to offer assistance, you can get a hold of Angel or Sue McPhee and get involved. I think that's it for our initial announcements. And so I wish I had something very clever to say about our next speaker. But I decided it's probably all been said before, and at least once or twice at this club. So our speaker today is our own Roger Ashelman, and I will give him the floor. Welcome, Roger.
All right. Go ahead and pop it, John, or do I pop it? Start the slideshow. Go ahead and start the slideshow. All right. Doing good in the world with the Rotary Foundation begins and ends with individual members and each independent Rotary Club. So let's start about 1 billion years ago when I was a 30-year-old new club member. I was told upon joining we were not a fundraising club and we were not a doing club. We were a giving club. A few years went by and suddenly I was a 39-year-old club president. And as I dove into the facts and figures of our club, I quickly figured out that we were not even a giving club. We had a lot of members who did and still do make a quick Paul Harris Fellowship gift of $1,000, and most of them didn't give anything after that. And while we had a few members who gave generous annual gifts, most club members just didn't give anything at all. So the few carried the freight for all the rest of us. As a young father, a sole income provider, paying a mortgage, a car payment, tending to the welfare of 2 little kids, $1,000 might as well have been on the dark side of the moon for me. I was giving about $25 a quarter on the statements, and I was kind of feeling a little ashamed about it. I was sitting at a club meeting with Andy Chandler when Andy announced he would do a matching gift up to $10,000. So any Rotarian that gave money, Andy gave $10,000 more. And that $10,000 allowed a lot of club members to buy up their Paul Harris Fellowship for a discount. And I remember telling Andy how generous that was and how I wished I could do something similar. And he very kindly and wisely just said, just keep doing what you can. If everyone does a little, no one has to do a lot, and a little bit adds up over time, year after year. When you can pitch in more, Roger, pitch in more. So I have had a wonderful life, and as promotions came along or raises came along or found money came along, I and my wife tried to share that with worthy entities, including Rotary internationally and locally. So today, as we review the Rotary Foundation, I'd encourage everyone to remember the goodness and wisdom of Andy Chandler, and let's ponder whether we can all do a little bit more. Here we go. Rotary Foundation has a mission, and the Rotary Foundation does that mission very, very well. Our foundation is overseen by Rotarians, trustees of the Rotary Foundation. They ensure that your donations are invested well and wisely spent so they'll do good in the world. Our members' generosity and Rotary's work are recognized. For the 13th consecutive year, the Rotary Foundation has received the highest rating possible, 4 stars, from Charity Navigator, the best-known independent evaluator of charities in the United States, showing strong financial health and commitment to accountability and transparency. Our annual fund projects help pay for international and national grants, district grants. Contributions to the annual fund make our humanitarian impact possible. So when you give to the annual fund, you get stories like this. Gabriela Martinez Flores. Gabriela is expanding her small sewing business and providing a better life for her family, thanks to a grant project created by Rotarians in Honduras and the United States that offer business training and microloans. It's giving to the annual fund that supports Rotarian-led projects like these, projects created at the local level, developed to meet community needs and to foster international fellowship. Our foundation is dedicated to causes, these areas of focus that build international relationships, improve lives, and promote a more peaceful world. The foundation can help you turn your passion into a cause of action and lasting change. It's local Rotarians and local clubs that are encouraged to lead efforts in these areas, and the Rotary Foundation is enabling them with grants. When we support the annual fund as a club, we get something back. When you contribute to the annual fund, part of your gift becomes available for your district and clubs to use however they want on foundation programs. When you donate to the annual share, and this is the primary fund we have with Polio, is the other one. For 3 years, your contribution is invested at the international level, and after 3 years, that money is kicked back out. A portion goes to the district designated funds to fund the grants that we apply for, and another portion goes to the World Fund for specific grants projects. And the real power comes when a local club throws in money and it gets matched with district money, and then that gets matched with World Fund money, and then sometimes, as in polio, that gets matched by Bill Gates. And all of a sudden, $10,000 of a local club has become $150,000. That's the power of our annual fund and the 3-year program. Every Rotarian every year is our primary fundraising initiative for Rotary. The goal is to increase the annual fund and for Rotarian engagement with our foundation. The idea is that if every Rotarian gave at least $25 to the annual fund yearly, what the foundation could accomplish would multiply by a factor of 2 or 3 of what it does today. Every Rotarian. But instead of every Rotarian worldwide, only 34% of all Rotarians supported the annual fund with individual donations. So a third of Rotarians are doing the work for all of us. Can you imagine how many more lives would be impacted if we could change, and more grant projects, if we could boost everybody to at least just $25 a year? Individual and club recognition. So how does our Rotary Club stack up compared to the world. The Rotary Foundation, TRF, has a sustaining membership if you give at least $25 a year. And that's the same bottom line for every Rotarian every year, $25. A sustaining member is someone who gives $100 or more to the annual fund each year. So last year, our club had 52 donors. That's 42% of our club gave money to the foundation. Even 25 bucks. So 58% of our club did not make a gift to the Rotary Foundation last year. Last year, our club had 41 donors at the $100 level to qualify for every Rotarian every year. So 1/3 of our members gave so much that the rest of us didn't have to do anything. And I'm not really trying to be shaming or accusatory, just specific and clear. The question is, can we as a club do better? Paul Harris Fellowships, you're familiar with. We recognize generous donors who give $1,000 or more to the annual fund, the Polio Plus Fund, or an approved foundation grant. They become Paul Harris Fellows. It's the best known recognition program Rotary has. The $1,000 can be given all at once or in several donations over time. Donors receive 1 point for each dollar they contribute, and if you get 1,000 points, you get a Paul Harris Fellowship. You get 1,000 more, you get to name someone else to a Paul Harris Fellowship. All Paul Harris Fellows receive a pin and a certificate, and with each additional $1,000, they get an additional Paul Harris Fellowship recognition, including pins that have lots of cool blue stones or red stones. And you've probably seen some of those on members. Our club has a tremendous, absolutely tremendous record of Paul Harris gifting. We have 291 club lifetime Paul Harris Fellows. Remarkable. 41 of our current, I missed a number somewhere. We have about 70 current Paul Harris Fellows. 73, all right. Our club has currently 73 Paul Harris Fellows. 41 of those are +1, so they've given 2,000. 16 more are +2, that's 3,000. 10 are +3, that's 4,000. We have 4 +4s, 4 +5s, 2 +6s, 1 +7, and 14 +8s, and then 14 major donors, which is 10,000 or more lifetime contributions. Almost all of these pluses and major donors have done it bit by bit, one check at a time every quarter. Some of the initial folks have given $1,000 one time, but for most of them, it's a lifetime buildup every quarter. Our club has 73 Paul Harris on the roster, but we have only 41 members who gave $100 last year. So we've got 32 Paul Harris Fellows that didn't give last year. So how do we re-energize things? Somehow I must have dropped the ball in these last 5 or 6 years doing this, and I apologize. Somehow we got to do a better job keeping our members energized and on track to be regular donors. Joan Wagner has talked about that. Todd will talk about it in December at the local foundation as well. We do have a bright spot, a special bright spot. We have one club member that's gifted more than $250,000, International Foundation, as an honored member of the Arch Clump Society. Arch Clump is the Rotarian who invented the foundation back in 1919 or 1920. The Paul Harris Society is an additional level of gifting. It's for those who agree to contribute $1,000 a year to the annual fund, the Polio Plus Fund, or approved foundation grants. Paul Harris Fellowship Society has grown from 10,000 in 2013 to more than 25,000 around the world. 84 countries have Paul Harris Society members. Society members' regular donations account for more than 20% of the total gifting of the International Foundation. What they do is incredibly important because it's that consistent year after year gifting that adds up. If we don't give money this year, there's not money to spend back in the district 3 years from now. So we just have to have that consistency. So internationally, 1 out of 50 Rotarians is a society member. Our club has 14 Paul Harris Society members, so 1 out of 10. It's remarkable and an incredible success. I can tell you those same 14 members are also the same members that are in the +7s and +8s and +9s because they've just been doing it year after year after year. Do the math. Our 14 society members every year get the club to the every Rotarian every year level. So 14 members are doing the lifting for everybody. Club recognition. Rotary International recognizes clubs for what they do. 100% foundation giving club is exactly what it means. It recognizes those members at a club where every member contributes at least $25. Our club has never won this banner. Every Rotarian Every Year club recognizes members who give an average of at least $100, with each member contributing at least 25. So the average is 100 plus 25. Our club has never won that banner. The 100% Paul Harris Society Club banner is for clubs that have every member doing $1,000 a year. I think that's probably a stretch too far for this year, but not out of reach in the future. The 100% Paul Harris Fellow Club banner recognizes clubs whose active members are all Paul Harris Fellows. We're halfway there. We got 73 out of 140. That's not out of reach in some couple future years. But the bottom line is our club has never earned any of these recognitions. President Steve has telling us we're going to do better this year. And one of his every Rotarian every year guidances is every Rotarian gives something this year. $25, I think back to my early years. I said $1,000 was the dark side of the moon. I couldn't possibly have done it. But $25 paid $5 or $10 a quarter, very reasonable, and folks can do that. So a lot of ways to do it. You can go online to rotary.org and you can start clicking buttons. The foundation has lots of interesting information. There's a big donate button, and when you click on it, it starts to give you a fill in the blank technique to do. And we'll look at that here in just another minute. So you can pay online at rotary.org. You can set up a regular contribution on your credit card, Rotary Direct, just automatic payments. You can write a check and leave it at the table or with club president or with me, and we'll get it accounted to your account. You can mail a check into Rotary International. It's pretty easy to do. There's a new technique called Raise for Rotary, which is an online at Rotary International. Any member can start, if they wanted to, a fundraising effort all of your own for Rotary. And it auto-populates all of the social media for you. So we can reach out. We're going to be using that for Polio Plus and try to market our Pints for Polio outside of our club alone. Rotary Direct, I just mentioned, you go directly to it at myrotary.org, Rotary Direct, and learn how to enroll. No matter how you choose to give, I hope you'll join me in supporting our Rotary Foundation by donating to the annual fund this year. You get your due statement once a quarter, and if that's not a reminder to pay up, when you get your due statement, add some money to the local foundation and the international foundation. When you get your due statement, gifts of any size matter, and they make a big impact, and it enabled President Steve's successful year to meet some of his goals for fundraising. I hope we can do that for him. President Steve has made that gifting to his international and the local foundation his priority. So on behalf of President Steve and the board of directors, on behalf of Todd Payne, raise your hand, Todd, president of our local foundation, I'd ask you to make a personal promise to yourself. Contribute to Rotary International this year. Make a gift to the Rotary International Foundation. And we'll jump to the website, if you would, John. You have on your tables 21 facts and figures about the International Foundation. Take it with you, please. Share it with someone else. You also have on your table a trifold brochure about every Rotarian every year, and it includes a gifting card in there if you want to sign up or just start making gifts. So foundation on the website, just scrolling down, we're going to repeat some of the things we've already said. There's the mission statement, how you can do it. You can choose choices for making contributions. 467 district grants for 31 million last year, 55 disaster response grants, 3.1 million, 2,066 global grants, 130 million, and a number of those cross-pollinated each other. There's the grants by area of focus: education, literacy, community economic development, disease prevention, maternal and child health, peace building, conflict resolution, water, sanitation, hygiene. Rotary makes the world a better place, and our primary tool for doing it is all of us and the money we give multiplies elsewhere. John. 4 stars, as we already said, 91% of all Rotary money goes to the projects. And Rotary projects are more successful than most projects because they're implemented in conjunction with the local people. And the local people then enable it and keep it running. When I was in Iraq, I'll tell you, it wasn't a Rotary project, but something that happened over and over. We'd come in and we'd do some infrastructure thing for a local community. The U.S. Army would build something, and within a day or two, it was stolen, or within 6 months, it was broken, and nobody knew how to fix it, and there wasn't money to come back and do it again. So it's that local connection that really makes it work. Go ahead and scroll down, see if you see a donate button, John, or go back up. Go back up, please. Keep going, keep going. It says D-O-N-A-T-E, donate. There you go. Donate now. Go ahead and click that for me. And start scrolling down. It's this easy. You pop in there. What do you want to use your money for? Pick a box, any box. All these boxes count for Paul Harris Fellowships. They all count for your tracking your donation. You click one, scroll on down. Fill in the blanks. Currency, United States, US dollars, one-time donation, recurring donation. If you click recurring donation, you're signing up you could put your credit card in and they're going to start popping it automatically. 25 bucks up to 1,000, unlimited. You can add more. Oh yeah, do other. Let's say, how about 100,000? Anybody good for 100 grand? All right. You enter another amount, scroll on down. Then you sign, you can continue as a guest, or if you're on your own myrotary.org, log in. You can do all the same thing. It's going to auto-populate a lot of your stuff. Whew. All right. Questions about the Rotary International Foundation? Yes, Joni.
So we benefit. Carl was mentioning these parties. Well, we just received $60,000 from our local grant to make it different. So that money will make it different. So we don't want to get
Absolutely true. Greatly appreciated it. And on the rescue center, somebody helped me, but I'm pretty sure that we had an international club threw some money in as well. India, maybe?
India.
Right? Isn't that amazing? A club from India is helping a club in Topeka, Kansas rescue women off the street. How fantastic is that? That's the power of Rotary International and the International Foundation. Questions of any kind from anybody? All right, thank you so much. We'll be in touch again. You're going to see a lot of me in the next couple of weeks. We're going to do a Polio Plus program. And then a bit later on, in November, General Patton will be in for a visit to talk about his experiences in World War I. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. And so another way that money comes back to us is our Covered in Coach program is primarily funded by a district grant that we apply for every year. And that is, that our grant money is based on what Roger was talking about, what we gave 3 years ago. And because our club is generous, we often, and have been a star club for I don't know how many years in a row, we get an extra kick. Last year, I think it was $600 to add to that. Cody, how many coats did we deliver last year? Over 500 coats to 501 schools that wouldn't have a winter coat without the Rotary Club of Topeka and Rotarians across the world. I will also say that our own Larry Dimmitt is working with Rotarians from India, and we're going to work as a sponsoring club, whether we put any money in or not. But the way the Rotary Foundation works is you've got to have world partners, and we're working with Rotarians from India on a project for them this time because they helped us. Pints for Polio meeting right after this one. So if you don't have a Pints for Polio glass, you should come to that meeting and find out how you can get one. We are donating a book to the Ross Elementary Library in honor of Merrill Ross, a former member of our club. Roger, as today's speaker, will be signing that. Next week is our membership assembly. If you sponsored, I see some really strong sponsors. Grace and Joni are two of our most prolific sponsors. If you sponsored anyone the last couple of years, call them, ask them to come next week. We'd like to get introduced to them. We'd like to get them a Rotary pin and have some fun with each other next week. If you didn't sign in, sign out. And if you're bringing extra guests, be sure that Vince knows you're bringing a bunch. So if you've talked to your 6 sponsored members, Joni, and you're bringing them all next week, make sure Vince knows you're all coming. Okay? All right. Let's stand for the 4-way test. Of the things we think we do, this is the truth. To all concerned, will build goodwill and better friendships. Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you and have a great week.